Music Sounds Productions.
Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21, and Chicago's number one underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Yo, Mike,
What's up, bro?
did you see that shit?
What shit?
WWE trying to show their new prize, Ronda Rousey.
No, I don't watch that shit.
Well, it's kind of funny.
It's definitely funny.
You know what's really funny? That they are calling Ronda Rousey the baddest woman on the planet.
Well, you know, she was for a short time, right?
Yeah, until she got smashed.
Well, you know what doesn't make sense to me, man? And, you know, of course, I didn't watch this live, but, you know, it does have a lot of intrigue to me because, you know, there's crossover there for fighting fans, right?
Yeah.
So what I don't get is from all the highlights that I've seen, it looks like she was wearing a Roddy Piper, one of his old jackets that I guess one of his kids gave to her. It didn't fit her properly, okay? She looked like a midget in a big, like, it was weird.
She looked like she was wearing her boyfriend's jacket.
Yeah, exactly, like a varsity Letterman
the cheerleader wearing the boyfriend's jacket.
And then she had this weird smile on her face, and she was pointing at the WrestleMania, and it looked goofy, it looked childish. Listen, it wasn't Big Bad Ronda. I want mean mugging Diaz, grin, Big Bad Ronda, beat your ass. And that wasn't her.
Why did she point 3 times?
Because she didn't know what to do. My guess is that she was just over, like, listen, you know, it's one thing to sell out a UFC arena, 30, 40,000, but, you know, WrestleMania is massive. The UFC has never done anything even close to that, dude.
Yeah, well, they've also been around all. Here's my problem.
That's true.
It's not even that she showed herself at WWE, whatever it is at this moment. I don't know why I can't speak, but
Sports entertainment.
It's not that she crossed over. It's not that she's in the WWE now. It's not even that they called her the baddest woman on the planet, where she's not. I think my biggest issue is after they call her the baddest woman on the planet, she goes and does an interview with ESPN, and ESPN does a really excellent job of actually asking her real questions. And they asked her a simple question: how do you feel about your losses in the UFC? That's it. That's all they asked her. And she couldn't answer that question because it was too, air quotes, devastating to talk about. And here's my biggest issue, and I finally figured out, because we've talked about this off air. I looked up to Ronda for a really long time. I felt that she was a pioneer of the sport. A lot like in other sports, Bill Russell, you know, you have Joe Montana, you have all these other guys who aren't that good technically wise, but because of what they did at that time frame, they will be known as legends and champions.
Right.
So I kind of viewed Ronda like that. She paved a way for female fighters for us to have Chris Cyborg in the light that she's in, to have Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes, Rose Namajunas, Thug Rose, basically. Have them in the light that they deserve because Ronda paved that way. But now, all of a sudden, she doesn't want to think about what she accomplished because it's too difficult because she lost. And in my opinion, losing makes a champion. You can go to Dominic Cruz. You can go to George St. Pierre. You can go to all these guys who have lost. You know, and if you even want to cross over to other sports, you can go to LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, who's about to play in a Super Bowl, and he lost twice in Super Bowls.
To Eli, yeah.
Yep. I think for somebody that I actually looked up to in the UFC, someone that I felt was a great example for my daughter, a great example for women everywhere, for her to not just say, yeah, I lost, it happens, but I'm a champ and I'm going to get back up. And instead of fighting, I went into the WWE. She just goes, well, I don't want to talk about that. It hurt me too badly.
Yeah,
to
that was
do it.
Weird. I don't know what her deal is, man, but for for a while she was the biggest, baddest person on the planet, man. Like, seriously, remember the Mayweather talk? Could she beat Mayweather? I was even prisoner of the moment, man.
I think she could.
You know, I thought if she got her hands on him, you know, it would be over. Maybe she could. I don't know. How quickly things have changed, right? I mean,
it's sad, and you know what upsets me the most is that I feel that pioneers, I don't think Chuck Liddell could fight in this era. I don't. I think he would get smashed by some of the elite guys. I think he wouldn't be able to touch Daniel Cormier. I think John Jones would severely mess him up because there's just new levels. The MMA is such a great sport that the old pioneers Very few of them can fight now. Mm-hmm. And that is what's beautiful.
It passes you by quick, that's for sure. You have a quick window. Speaking of, I don't know, I wouldn't call him a pioneer, but maybe that second wave, Chael Sonnen. He's a guy that's kind of in that second wave. You know, say what you want about the guy, but you and I both have a lot of respect for him.
Oh,
you know,
I love him.
He tends to say some things that may seem out there at first, but I tell you what, a lot of the shit he says ends up really coming true and happening. Most recently, you know, the John Jones thing looks like it actually, he might beat this recent charge against him. I wanted to talk about a point that he made the other day, and it was about fighters in general, picking and choosing fights, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. Paulo, what he said was this: guys that pick and choose fights are essentially bullies, and I'll explain his meaning. His idea behind that was this: if you decline a fight, what you're essentially saying is, I do not think I can beat this guy.
Correct.
And when you pass on that and then you choose to accept a fight, what you're saying is, I think I can beat that guy. So essentially you're a bully. You're only taking fights with guys you think you can beat. What do you think about that? Because I think that is a very valid point.
I feel that, listen, he's completely right. He is so right. There are guys out there who are picking fights, and they miss the whole point of, you know, they want to be a superstar. They want to catapult themselves into being a superstar so quickly, so they're trying to cherry pick who they're fighting. And the problem with that is superstars were never made that way. Superstars were made by fighting the best of the best at the time they're supposed to fight them. And that's what annoys me so much about this newer generation of fighters. And Chael Sonnen is completely right. Chael Sonnen never ran away from anybody. He fought John Jones when he was severely outclassed. He's in the heavyweight Grand Prix, and he's a middleweight. I don't care what anybody says. They go, well, he's a light heavyweight. He looks fat at light heavyweight, and he looks really fat at heavyweight.
No, you're absolutely right about that. So if you haven't figured it out by now, you are listening to the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. I am Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21. I'm here with Chicago's #1 underground comic, Apollo Taj Mahal.
I'm so underground they ain't never heard of me.
We want to take a minute and thank the amazing pro audio company, Leaks Pro. Check them out, guys. They're not just a microphone company. They have everything that you need for your pro audio needs, whether it's microphones, XLR cables, stands, monitor speakers. They have amazing headphones. I mean, listen, guys, dollar for dollar, you cannot find a better company, Leaks Pro. Check them out, lyxpro.com.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm normally not a over-the-ear headphone type of guy. These are so good, I really want to work out in them.
Really?
I don't think I should because they're so nice. But they are, you know what? I'm going to buy another pair of these just for working out.
You hear that? Headphones so good they make you want to work out.
I know. The headphones so good. They for real do. Like I have these on my head right now, and they make my voice sound deeper. I sound right now like I went through puberty. The bass is amazing.
Again, thanks, Leaks Pro, lyxpro.com. Check them out, guys. So, Paulo, Jacre looked really good last weekend.
He scared me. He kind of looked like a dad beating up his son. No, it was that
for the second time.
Yeah, it was that stalking. Like he head kicked him. He head kicked him, and then he didn't run over to him. He walked him. Yeah. And then so when I saw that, it was just like, it looked like his like the kid finally was like, I'm gonna beat up my dad, and then he got head kicked. And
you know, Brunson didn't look terrible, but he did look like old Brunson at times.
Looked reckless,
jumping in exactly.
Yeah.
Jacare, man, all of a sudden that talk of him looking old, you know, against Whitaker, which, you know, Whitaker can make a lot of guys look old, but Jacare all of a sudden looks like, you know, he's had a rebirth now at 185. It looks like he looks great.
This is what I hate. One guy loses one fight to a stud, and yes, we don't know he's a stud yet, but to a stud in Robert Whitaker, and now all of a sudden he's finished, he's done. No, he lost to a stud. It happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody's going to take a loss. Very, very few, if any, retire undefeated in this sport. Andre Fili, he had a very close split decision win over Dennis Bermudez. I know you think Bermudez won, right?
I honestly, I rewatched the fight. So when I first watched it, I thought Bermudez definitely won. Watching it again, I'm kind of on the track of touchy-feely.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, touchy-feely. He just had a little bit more control of that fight.
I scored it for Feely too. When I watched it live, I didn't rewatch it. It was one of those fights that really, in my opinion, you could have scored it for either guy. I wouldn't have been mad. It was one of those.
I felt that touchy-feely he got a lot more. I'm going to say his full nickname.
Andre, every time you say Andre Touchy-Feely.
Yeah, I'm not even going to call him Andre. He's touchy-feely. I feel touchy-feely. He did have a little bit more control. It was a very, very close fight. It was definitely an interesting fight. I'm not going to say it's one of a great fight that I've seen. It was a good fight. Touchy-feely did take a little bit more control of that fight, and I got to give it towards him.
For sure. I think, man, if you don't know Gregor Gillespie, you should now. He is a stud, just another savage at 155 pounds to watch out for. He ran through hometown Jordan Rinaldi. I mean, he TKO'd him in about, 4 minutes, 46 seconds of the first round. And then the very first fight of the main card, a lot of people were criticizing it, wondering why Drew Dober, Frank Camacho. Well, guess what? Now you know why. Those two are both...
That was a barn burner.
They're both they're going to... Zombies. They're just going to take shots and walk forward. It was a fun fight. And Camacho's got the sneakiest little trip, right?
It's beautiful.
It is, man.
I'm a big trip guy. So in wrestling days, I was mainly an undersized heavyweight. I love trips. I feel that trips are very underutilized. Another person who utilized trips recently...
And the clinch like that. So, man, the way he did it.
It was really nice.
It was. What were you going to say recently? Who
was using trips too that I'm very impressed with? Chael Sonnen, his trip game was amazing.
Against Rampage?
Yeah, I'm big in the inside trip.
Yeah.
I'll show you one time. We'll do a video on my technique on how I go from when I was wrestling, how I would go from a trip to a knee tap if it didn't work out, or from a knee tap to a trip. It was really fun.
And then Bobby Green on the undercard, he looked really impressive, man. He walked right through Eric Koch. Eric Koch had moments in the first round, but other than that, Bobby Green kind of just put it on him. And then Mirsad Bektik, he finished Godfredo Pepe with a sternum shot. That was
the scariest thing I've ever seen. I pooped myself.
It was very
How do you
cool,
not poop
man.
yourself when you take a sternum shot like that?
It was interesting to watch because the reaction of Pepe was similar to a liver shot. It was like a half-second delay, and then he went down.
I think he pooped himself, and he knew
he might
because of that poop that he was going to get.
Maybe you should change his name to Godfredo Pupe.
Godfredo Pupe. That's going to catch on. Dang it, I'm sorry. I do want to take a quick second, and I want to apologize to the UFC for making fart noises on this card.
It was a good card, man.
It was a good free card. Yes, there are a lot of unknowns, and yes, would I like a little bit bigger of a names. But as a UFC fan, I should be, as an MMA fan, I'm tired of everybody saying UFC's MMA. They're an organization. As an MMA fan, I should be excited about seeing good fights no matter who they're from. And I was caught in the moment of big names. And I will, from now on, not make fart noises on cards until after I see them.
Yeah, well, you never know what you're going to get.
Actually,
right?
never mind. I will probably go back on that. If it's a pay-per-view and it's definitely poopy, I will make fart noises beforehand.
Well, if you want big names, dude, how about DC and Stipe? They're fighting. It's no more talk. They're doing it. They're actually going to coach tough, and they're going to fight at UFC 226. It goes down July 7th. Man, this is crazy, and it looks like the UFC is actually billing DC as the A side in this fight. So what is your thoughts on this?
I am very happy. I feel that Daniel Cormier is very deserving of this fight. I like how, even though he got knocked out by John Jones, he is stealing John Jones' life. Because this is what John Jones wanted to do. And DC's like, well, you beat me, I'm going to take your life. But no, I want Daniel Cormier to be my father, one. He hasn't gotten back to me. I'm upset, Dad. Why don't you accept me?
Maybe he's listening.
Please listen. I just...
Adopt a brother.
Hashtag adopt me, because you are my hero, Daniel Cormier. I've been a fan of you since your Olympic days. I've been a fan of you right when you got into Strikeforce. I was
kind of getting creepy now.
I don't care. I love Daniel Cormier. He's my favorite.
You think he beats Stipe? I know it's early. It's super early.
As big of a fan I am of Daniel,
really?
Stipe might have a speed factor, and he has a striking game, and he has size. But I have seen Daniel flip people on their head.
Yeah, look at Josh Barnett, Bigfoot Silva in that Strikeforce tournament.
So
I think DC can beat him.
I think he can, but I think it's going to be, besides John Jones, one of his greatest tests of all time. And how good he looked against John Jones before he got head kicked. I hope I see that.
Yeah.
That Daniel.
There's
And
no
Daniel's
doubt.
and Daniel's not going to be depleted. He's not going to be tired because he's going to be nice and fat.
Yeah, he's not really going to have to cut any weight at all.
No, he already said he's going to be around 235, just naturally walking around. Which, thinking about that, he goes from 235
Oh, it's
to
incredible.
205
Oh, yeah.
just for his best friend Kane.
I can't think of someone that looks worse than him on weigh-in day. He looks terrible.
And it really shows you that he can't go any lower.
Oh, absolutely
Like
not.
everybody's like, well, look at him. I'm like, yeah, he has a
Yeah,
little
but
body fat on him, but
He can't, no.
he's eating.
You see his face when he cuts weight? He looks like an extra on The Walking Dead or something like that, you know?
Dad,
There's no way.
don't cut weight anymore. Stay at heavyweight.
But you mentioned Kane, man. So, Kane or DC alluded to, he kind of hinted that Kane might drop to 205. And then
No, he's not.
Kane chimed in, and he didn't rule it out. He didn't say he would, but he did say he is aiming to fight on that same UFC 226 card.
He might fight at heavyweight, but he is a big
That's
dude.
what-
He's not going to 205.
Well, I don't know about the immediate future, no. But he is trying to get on that UFC 226 card with DC.
I would love DC and Kane to fight. I know that's
Not
bad.
Not going to fight each other on that
I think
card.
no, but down the line.
Oh, I don't think they will.
If DC wins the belt,
No, they have too much bro love.
dude, they're
It's
wrestlers
too-
though. They're
Yeah,
wrestlers.
but yeah, I just don't see that. Not those two.
You want to know why I see it?
Why?
Because wrestlers fight each other. We don't care. It's about
Yeah.
winning. It's about that. It's different, and I think because there's so much bro love, they know each other so well. That would be a barn burner. It just turned into a Spartan. They fight each other all the time.
Well, yeah, I know, but
And
it's
why not
different.
get paid to do what you already do in the gym?
I mean, I feel you. I
Because
understand, but
DC in his mind, he's like, if I win, I get to have bragging rights against my brother. If I lose, I just go back down to light heavyweight and be the champ. Like, DC has nothing to lose here. Let's really think about it. DC has nothing to lose and everything to gain.
No, I agree with you. I just don't think he will, from the way that he's talked about Kane in the past, and they talk about each other, and then AKA and all that. Another fight though that I know you're excited about, the possibility of Eddie Alvarez and Diaz. And well, let's be specific here. Are we talking Nate?
I'm
or
doing
Nick?
a happy dance.
Are we talking Nate or Nick?
Stop. I'm tired of hearing about Nick right now. I love Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz's Snapchat is fire. His Instagram is bomb. But I am tired of hearing about Nick Diaz. He's not going to fight.
Okay.
He's not going to fight in the near future. He's going to keep working out. He's going to keep talking shit. He's going to keep being awesome.
What about Nate?
Nate might fight.
Think he'll fight Eddie
I
Alvarez?
think he'll fight Eddie. I think he will. I think that is a fight.
On paper, that's a super fucking intriguing fight.
I really want
Fun
to
fight.
I think it would be funny to see Nate Diaz Stockton slap Eddie.
I think he definitely would too.
I think he would, and I think Eddie would go back to his Philly roots. I feel like it's just two hood kids who...
Man, he looked phenomenal, Eddie, in his last fight.
Justin Gaethje? Yeah.
If he can get back to the Eddie Alvarez that was dominating Bellator and was killing it over in Japan, then man, that guy is great. If he brings a different style against Diaz, then it's going to be interesting to see if that one even comes together. Because right now it's just speculation, and I don't know. It doesn't look like it's gonna. Doesn't look like it's
Pay
gonna happen.
Diaz. Just pay him. Just pay him. I say pay him. What does he want? 15 mil? He wants 15 mil?
I don't know. I don't know exactly the number he
He
wants.
keeps saying, like, I want $10 million to fight. I'm like,
So this
Damn.
weekend, man. This weekend, UFC Bellum.
yeah.
Lyoto Machida is going against Eric Anders, your boy. I had a chance to speak with him not too long ago. Really cool guy, man. This is going to be a very interesting main event. It really is.
So,
also on the card is Des Green. Wish both of those guys the best of luck. But, man, what do you think of this card, though?
I know I said I would make farting noises on cards.
Isn't that the same noise you made about the last card last weekend?
Yes.
It turned out to be really good.
You know
so-
what? Listen, I said I wouldn't do it anymore, and I apologize.
And you just did it, yeah.
I can't help it. I feel that the UFC is too many cards. It's every weekend.
I love it, though.
It's every weekend.
I don't care. I wish there was more. I wish it was every day.
I do. I
love the sport, so.
But don't make a big deal out of these cards. Like, make it like basketball. Like, it's just like, oh, it's a game on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's a fight on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
No, I love it. I think it's perfect.
I can't. I just, because then I get these really sad cards, and then I get really depressed.
See, I watch every single fight on every card.
I watch them.
I watch Bellator. I watch UFC. I watch PFL. I watch.
World Series of Fighting is PFL now.
Yeah. What's been for a minute, and then I watch Invicta. I mean, I
love
watch
Invicta.
ACB.
Those women are.
I watch everything.
I watch every Invicta fight because
great fights.
Those women.
I love women fights are amazing, man.
They're way better than dude fights.
Because they fight with chips on their shoulders, man.
It reminds me of the olden days of the UFC and actually just olden days of MMA in general, where everybody just had a chip on their shoulder. They were just going out there and attacking. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about being famous. It was just about my martial art is better than your martial art, and I'm going to show you. And women are kind of in that mode of like,
man, there's a lot of good women fighters, man. But you mentioned the PFL. I'm glad you did because the PFL actually was in the news recently. They just announced a new broadcast deal. NBC Sportsnet. They re-signed with them, which is good, and they're also going to be on Facebook for people that are outside of the U.S., which is pretty cool. They're going to have 7 shows, and it starts June 7th, and it goes through December 31st. They have 72 fighters broken down into 12 different divisions in 6 different weight classes, and the winner of each, in each class gets $1 million. It's very cool, man. So, yeah, that's a great deal, Apollo, for PFL. I'm glad they're going to be back on NBC Sportsnet. If you don't know what channel that is, I couldn't help you, but definitely check your local provider. I'm sure they can, let you know what channel that is. It's NBC Sportsnet. And, again, they're going to have 7 events at the PFL. One of the PFL's best fighters, man, is Andre Harrison. He actually was the World Series of Fighting featherweight champion, but then when they switched over to the PFL, they lost their belts. Like John Fitch, he was their champion, but they lost their belts. Now they have to go through this tournament that I was just explaining. Well, I think one of probably the best featherweight in the world that no one knows about, Andre the Bull Harrison. He's a friend of the show. He's been on my other MMA show before. He's just a stand-up guy, 17-0, and you know what? Here he is right now. And right now I want to introduce Andre the Bull Harrison to the show. I think he is the best featherweight fighter in the world no one knows about. 17-0. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just at the gym, training, same old.
Man, you're always training. That's one of the things I admire about you. You fight in the PFL, the Professional Fighters League. It was the World Series of Fighting. You were the champion over there, and now it's kind of restructured. How is everything going with the PFL so far?
So far, so good. It seems like they have good ideas and things of that nature that they're trying to bring to the MMA game. So I'm interested and happy to be a part of it, and looking forward to bringing you guys some good fights.
Well, every time you step into the cage, man, you put on great fights after great fights. Your last fight against Rodriguez, you took a unanimous decision win. That was in July of last year. Of just another dominant performance by you, man. Do you feel you don't get the respect you deserve?
I don't really look at it like that. I mean, the people that know about MMA and they know who I am and what I'm capable of, and and my team, my coaches know. So that's all that really matters to me.
Well, we definitely know how good you are, man. And I've been a fan of you for a while, and watching you fight in the World Series of Fighting, you definitely have beaten the who's who of guys who are now in the UFC. And I do feel that you being ranked 30th is definitely a crime.
Yeah. It varies from website to website. Some people got me ranked high, some got me ranked low.
Well, do you actually pay attention to that at all, or does that drive you at all? Those rankings make you work a little harder?
It used to. When I was an amateur, I used to just want to crack the top 50, But now I could care less.
Yeah, now you just kind of just do your thing and just whatever's going to come is going to come. But as Paulo alluded to, man, you got wins over Lance Palmer, Steven Seiler, Des Green, Kurt Hollabaugh. Most of those guys have fought in the UFC. And, you know, you got victories over every one of them. Yet when people talk about best featherweights, you're never mentioned, man. Come on, that's got to rub you a little bit the wrong way, because you're out there, you bust your ass, and and people, you know, you're never on the MMA Hour. People aren't talking about you. They're talking about Max Holloway. I think you can beat Max Holloway.
I do too. I agree with that, but I mean, everything happens when it's supposed to. So, you know, if and when I should ever be in the cage with him, and you know, I go ahead and prove that point too.
Have you ever had conversations with the UFC?
Yeah, spoke to them. I just recently was in the corner of Gian Vellante, and so I saw Sean Shelby, and you know, spoke to him. But right now, I'm just focused on PFL and making this year a good year.
How many more fights do you have on your PFL deal?
4.
Okay.
I just re-signed after my last fight.
I really wanted to ask you one quick question. How do you describe your fighting style that you have?
I'd say I'm well-rounded. You know, I can strike if need be. I can wrestle. I got a good ground game. You know, I'm well-rounded. I can do whatever needs to be done to get the W.
That was the one thing I noticed about your fighting was your wrestling ability. Do you have a background in wrestling? Because I was looking that up and I didn't see anything about that.
No, they kept that hidden.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I'm sorry.
It depends. When guys come to wrestle at the gym with Greg Gillespie, I tell them all the time, you know, I wrestled 1 year in middle school, and you know, I was all league. But the honest answer would be, I was a 3-time All-American in college, and yeah.
Wow, that is some impressive things right there.
Yeah, there's no doubt by watching your style, you could tell you are definitely skilled in the finer art of wrestling. That's for sure, brother. You know, a lot of your former World Series of Fighting champions made that jump this year. Justin Gaethje, Marlon Moraes. Hopefully, you're that next guy. But right now, I know you're squarely focused in the PFL. Do you have your next fight? Is that booked yet?
Yeah, PFL literally just released that the first fight of the season will be June 7th.
Awesome. And do you have an opponent?
No, not yet. I wish.
Well, as soon as you get an opponent, please let me know, man. I'd love to have you back on.
Yes, sir. Will do.
As I said, I think you are truly one of the 2 or 3 best featherweights in the world, man. On any given night, I think you can beat the very best. I just think that people need to start respecting you.
Emphasis on that any given night, because, you know, I don't know if y'all can hear everybody in the background, but there's Keith Trimble in the background, Nick Fiore, Matt Cully, and a couple people in the background right now. Literally just finished grappling and then got some striking drills and stuff coming up. So train all the time.
Where can all the listeners follow you on social media, Andre?
On IG, it'll be Dreadable MMA 145, Facebook Dreadable, and Instagram too.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for coming
man.
by.
Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. Let me know when you get an opponent. We'll get you back on.
We'll do. I think in March I should find out. So
Awesome.
Take care, Andre.
Good stuff, man. Bye-bye.
We just heard from Andre Harrison. Obviously, he's a little peeved. He doesn't feel he gets the respect he deserves. You know, guys like you, guys like me, guys that really know the sport, we know what kind of champion he is, what kind of fighter he is. You know, he doesn't get the respect that a lot of these guys do, the Max Holloways, the Jose Aldos. But I think one day he will. This might even be his breakout year, man.
You know what, man? I feel that a guy like him who works as hard as he does, goes out there, does what he needs to do, he will get his shine, a lot like Eddie Alvarez.
Took him a while, too, yeah.
Yeah, it took him a long while, but when he did, he took over. And I think the same thing will happen with Harrison. If he keeps putting the work in, you know, you could hear in the background, that dude's at practice right now training.
Yeah, he's a champ, for sure. You know who else is a champ? Well, at least in boxing. I don't know if he is anymore because he's retired, right? Floyd Mayweather. He's been in the news lately.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I don't know what to make of it. If you don't know what we're talking about, Floyd Mayweather put out like a 15, 16-second Instagram video of him inside of a cage. He was wearing fighter shorts and he had no shoes on. And he was talking about 2018 Floyd Mayweather MMA. What are the odds? Who knows? We took to Facebook to see what the average MMA fan thought. And, well, here's what Chuck Giles thought.
Floyd does have a puncher's chance.
Okay, you know, obviously we're just kidding. That's that.
Why do we do this to people?
He does think that, but no, this is what he really thinks.
Come on, dude. stop.
Okay, and as you can see, it's a little bit more in line.
You
with what
didn't
we
show
think.
me that ahead of time. I'm very upset. I was mad at this person.
Well, thanks again, Chuck Giles. He's a big time MMA fan, and thanks for being a part of the show. Man, what do you think of this, though? What do you think of Floyd Mayweather making this video? Do you think it's just him being Floyd, or do you really think that there's a chance we see him fighting MMA this year?
Okay. Let me finish laughing. First, he looks like my uncle. He looks like one of my uncles that just found out about the internet and trying to threaten somebody. So it's really funny.
Your uncle looks like Floyd, and Daniel Cormier, you want to be your father. You have like a royal family here.
Yes, I do. But no, he just looks like an uncle that just found out about the internet. Is absolutely hysterical. And then two, like, what are the odds of 2018? About the same amount of odds he's gonna have another tax problem and he's gonna have to go fight.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I don't think the odds are great, but I think the odds of him fighting are good, and here's why.
Fighting boxing?
Anything.
Okay.
Boxing.
He's not gonna fight in a cage, mixed martial arts, dude.
He actually, I could see him doing it for one reason. He has a lavish lifestyle.
For sure.
He's not making the kind of money that supplies that lavish lifestyle.
I don't think he's hurting for money. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
One of the reasons the Conor fight, I don't think he's hurting for money. I think he's hurting. I think the IRS is hurting for his money.
Yeah, his hurting for money and our hurting for money is way different, right?
Yeah, no, he's not hurting for money.
Digging through couch cushions, looking for change to get a gallon of gas. He doesn't have to do that.
With him, the IRS is hurting for his money, and so he needs to find a way to get them his money.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't see him filling out too many W-9s.
Yeah, who knows, man? It's gonna be interesting to kind of see where that whole thing goes. I really don't think anything is going to come of it, just Floyd trying to stay in the news.
If he makes no money off of staying in the news, I'll see him fighting.
Yeah, interesting.
And if no one wants to fight him in boxing that's relevant, I see him in MMA. Whatever is going to get Big Brother IRS their money, he will find a way to do it.
Bellator last weekend. We talked about a little bit about the Larkin fight and Gonzalez, but also on that fight card was AJ Matthews and Kendall Grove, two friends. They went at it. It was a pretty good fight, Apollo. It went 3 rounds. It was kind of a war, back and forth. AJ Matthews won, and we're going to have him on right now.
I'm excited.
And right now, I want to introduce Bellator fighter AJ Matthews. What's going on, brother?
Just chilling right now with my brother in San Jose. What are you up to?
Just hanging out here, man, in Chicago. But you had a fantastic fight, man, against one of your friends, Kendall Grove, last weekend, Bellator 193, man. How did you feel about the fight?
After it or before it?
Were you satisfied with the outcome of it?
After watching the video, I felt like I had a pretty good fight. A lot of things went exactly the way we were training, and I don't know. I was pretty stoked.
I thought you fought your ass off, man. I thought you looked great. Yeah, I thought you and Kendall both laid it out there, and I really didn't know who the judges were going to give it to. So, but I thought they got it right. But you guys both fought your ass off. But it was a great fight.
Hey, AJ, it's Paul Tosh from Hall here. I wanted to ask you about how it was before the fight to fight one of your friends. I come from a wrestling background, and we wrestle our friends all the time, and I just kind of wanted to see what your mindset was before that fight.
Before it? Well, yeah, so our team alliance, all of us were in Las Vegas while Dominic Cruz was coaching the Ultimate Fighter Live. And even some of the, Team Lloyd Irvin, still Team Alliance, those dudes were out. There was just a huge team. And one of the times after practice, it was at a time when in the UFC friends weren't fighting friends, or it was kind of a big thing. And Dominic asked Mike Easton, he was like, hey, if the UFC called and said, hey, you're going to fight Dominic for the title, what would you say? And Mike Easton said, I'm going to whoop that ass, Dobbs. And Dominic was like, yeah, exactly. We'll only do this to be the best. Yeah, and sometimes, I don't know. So even though that's how I wanted my mindset to be, when I took the fight, it was still hard. It was, I don't know. Because if I couldn't say no.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity for you, man, and you definitely rose to it. That's for sure. I thought you looked fantastic. Are you still under contract with Bellator?
I understand, right? Might have been my last fight of my current deal, but I'm not 100% sure.
If that is the case, do you anticipating re-signing with Bellator, or at least fielding offers from them?
Of course, I want to hear from them first. We've got quite a relationship. They didn't have to give me a bunch of the opportunities they've given me, but I think they appreciate the way I fight and just me as a person. So I can appreciate them too.
Yeah, for sure, man. You fought a lot of tough guys, man. I was taking a look at your resume. You fought Asaki Kato, and you fought a guy that's really making a name for himself in the UFC before, Bilal Muhammad. How was it being in there with some of those top guys right now?
My fight with Bilal, that was whatever. He kind of, that was a time in my career where I didn't wrestle back, and so more power to him. He got me, dude, but I didn't feel outclassed in that fight at all. I felt in it. The Kato, if you watch the Kato fight, man, I hit him. I was coming forward. We got a double eye gouge. No, but he got me. He got me. But, I mean, even there, the left kick came faster than I thought it would, but I wasn't out of that fight until I was out of the fight.
Yeah, you're never out of a fight until you're out of a fight, for sure. You got a hell of a chin, man, as we saw just this last weekend. If you and Bilal ran that back right now, man, do you beat him?
I think it's competitive.
I definitely do.
I don't know, man. Obviously, I think I'll smoke that dude.
That's what I love to hear.
Well, you're definitely a different fighter, for sure, man. You've came a long way.
I went out with the Filthy Few. Led by Neil Melanson, Pat Cummins, part of that, Carrington Banks, Yuri Viafort, Ty Claxton, so many good dudes, and they changed me. I changed a little bit.
So you mentioned that the Filthy Few changed your life. Are you going all the way to the Philippines? Is that where the Filthy Few is based out of, or is that back in California?
No. Philippines is Brandon Vera, Coach George Castro, and I are opening an alliance in Manila.
Okay.
Ooh.
And so that's going to be pretty dope. Under construction right now. But because we didn't really have a setup there, I decided to go back because I trained with Coach Neil Melanson when I was on the reality show, and he was Extreme Couture's coach, and also even before that at Alliance in San Diego. And he was one of the dudes who really believed in me, and I don't know, so that's where I went.
Well, man, you're an exciting fighter, and I think that you have the best mustache in the game, brother, hands down.
I appreciate that too.
And like I said, we're based out of here in Chicago, and I know that Bellator has a very big card coming up at the end of April 28th, Frank Mir and Fedor Emelianenko. I know it's kind of a short notice, but if you can get back on that card, Chicago would love your fighting style, brother.
Oh, yeah.
April 28th?
Yeah, I know it's a quick turnaround, but...
I'm going to get an x-ray right now.
Oh.
If everything's cool, I'm down.
Chicago loves their mustaches, so.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Well, I hope.
Bring this to Scott and Rich and all them, man. Let them know I'm down.
Man, that sounds awesome. Well, I hope all's well with the x-ray, man. Let me know. Fingers crossed here. Could you do me one favor? Could you say, this is AJ Matthews, and you're listening to the Did You See That Shit podcast?
All right. This is AJ Matthews, and you're listening to the Did You See That Shit podcast.
I appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much.
Take care, AJ.
Bye.
Good dude, man.
Oh, you know what I loved about him is we were just talking about Daniel Cormier not wanting to fight Kane and all that stuff.
Friends, yeah.
This is the guy, AJ Matthews, embodies what MMA
what
should
you were
be.
just saying.
Yeah.
I'll fight him.
Yeah, I'll fight him. I'll beat him. You know, it's my friend. I might as well get paid for what we're doing in the gym. And that was what I love to see. And that dude has gotten so good. And that last fight, just he looks so sound and confident. And I'm excited to see him grow because he's he's still very young in the game.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you look him up and you're like, hey, his record isn't that impressive. Well, as he said, when he was a younger fighter, he took a lot of fights that maybe he shouldn't have taken in hindsight. But you know what?
I respect that.
He absolutely, he is what he is from it. And I'm not making excuses for him because he's a savage. My point is, he's not going to lose too many more.
No, and you know what? Here's the thing about him. And if you do look at his record, he didn't cherry pick. He took who was in front of him, and he fought the best of the best.
Man, I can't wait to see where his career goes, and hopefully he can get, fingers crossed, man, he gets on that Chicago card.
Oh, yo, if he's on that Chicago card, we are down. Yo, I'm gonna grow out a mustache when I go through puberty.
Right, and Apollo, we touched on it a little bit, the Bellator card, the 193. All in all, it was a really solid card. One of the surprising moments was when Steve Cazzola, who was a big favorite, he got upset by a guy named Jake Smith, a guy that not too much was known about him. But we know a little bit about him because we had a chance to speak with him.
You had a chance to speak with him.
Well,
I missed another interview.
It's all good. You got to work, right? Someone's got to work. So
I bring home the bacon, people.
Well, here is our conversation with Jake Smith. And right now I want to introduce a Bellator fighter, Jake Smith, who had a very impressive performance last weekend at Bellator 193. What's going on, Jake?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Man, it's going fantastic. I know things are probably going pretty good for you, huh? I mean, you weren't on too many guys' radar before last weekend, and then, man, you put the fist on Steve Cazzola, huh?
Yeah, man. I was pretty much an unknown going into that. So, a lot of betting lines were betting against me, but I made some people some money.
You definitely did, man, because Cazzola was one of the bigger favorites on that card. Steve's been on the show before. He's a friend of the show. You are too, because, we don't pick favorites here. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he rushed you, and you were just really calm, really patient. And, boy, your counters, Jake, you got some deadly accuracy with those counters.
Yeah, man. Steve's a good guy. He put that fight out for a firefighter who, lost his daughter or something like that. So, he's a really good dude. I just wanted to let everyone know that. But, yeah, man, that was kind of the plan was we were working on just countering because we noticed he kind of dropped his hands a little bit. His chin's a little high. So we were working on overhand right all camp. So it just kind of worked out perfect.
He rushed you, and he's been known to finish guys quick, but you looked so calm. You looked like you expected it, and boy, when you had your opening, you didn't miss a beat. You hit him with that 1-2, boom, and he was out. It was over. He kind of protested it, but it was a good finish, man. Has Bellator offered you, I know it's real soon, but have they came at you with anything else yet?
Well, thank you for the kind words, man. You're making my head grow here. No. No, they haven't came back with anything yet. I'm kind of just waiting, I mean, it was a long camp for me. It was, it's a lot of pressure. You gotta deal with, it's your first time stepping into Bellator. You're on the main card, so it was a lot thrown at me. But I'm hoping to get back in there around May.
Yeah, that seems like it would be a good time. Take a little bit off, get back in the train. Where are you training nowadays?
Yeah, I'm training over at Gracie Baja in Portland with Chelsea Sonnen. Brent Primus, a few other guys, Austin Springer, he was on the Ultimate Fighter, he got he's LFA champ.
So you train with top-level guys then. It's not like, you don't train at some gym no one's ever heard of. You're training with Chael Sonnen and Brett Primus, Steel Sharp and Steel, and you're just that next guy to come out of that camp, it sounds like.
Yeah, man, we got something special going on. I almost say it's like the next Team Quest in a sense, but an upgraded version.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got the old guys from Team Quest, so we kind of get their dollars, their wisdom. But the talent right now, it's thriving.
Very cool. Are you currently under contract with Bellator?
Yeah. I have a 4-fight deal.
Awesome. So you got 4 more fights. Well, I know they have a Chicago card coming up, man, April 28th. I'm in Chicago. That's why I'm bringing it up. We'd love to get you on that card. I know it's kind of a quick turnaround, but, hey, if that'd be possible, that'd be pretty fun, huh?
Yeah, actually, that'd be great. I would love to go to Chicago. I want to eat some deep dish pizza.
Yeah, we definitely got that.
All the food in the world.
Yeah, we definitely got that. We definitely got a lot of obese people because we have a lot of good food here. You're pretty active on Twitter, man. Why don't you put your social media out there for everybody?
At Uber Smitty. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I even have a YouTube channel called Triggered Happy. You guys can check that out. But, talking about the Chicago card real quick, though, if Baby Slice keeps listening, I would love to fight that guy. He's got a big-ass head, and I feel like he's a good fun finish.
That'd be a great fight. I'd love to see that. And if we could bring that here to Chicago, man, that'd be special. That'd be very cool.
Right?
Let's try to get that done. That sounds good.
Yeah, man. Let's try to get that rumor going. Saying I'm fine, Baby. But
Let's do it. I'm down. I'm in all the way. Just kind of a tradition we have here at the show. Could you do me a favor? Could you say, this is Jake Smith, and you're listening to the Did You See That Shit podcast?
yeah, no problem. This is Jake Smith, and you're listening to Did You See That Shit podcast.
All right. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got to know a little bit more about Jake Smith. I'll tell you, man, that Baby Slice call out, that was classic. That was epic.
I definitely like it. Bellator seems to be like pushing Baby Slice.
A little bit,
Yeah, and
I mean, understandably so. It's his name, but I tell you, man, that is it's a dangerous fight for Baby Slice.
Yep, and could put Jake Smith up in the get his name really out there.
Dude, Jake Smith's got some hands, and come on, we can get this fight done in Chicago. That'd be even better.
Let's just bring all the fights to Chicago.
Hopefully,
Come on.
the Fedor Frank Mir fight, that's the main event, and that's really the only fight that's really scheduled for that card so far. So
Scott Coker, come on.
yeah, Scott Coker.
Let's have a one-on-one.
You guys need to get on that, man. Make that shit happen, okay?
Also,
Uber Smitty, Jake Smith needs to fight Baby Slice in Chicago. Come on, get that hashtag going.
Also, Scott Coker, can we talk to you real quick? Some front row would be nice. Anyways, another thing that I really loved what Jake Smith said, man, talking about Team Quest, that just brings back memories.
It's crazy.
Of
it's
Dan
because
Henderson.
it's crazy because when I was you asked how the interview went, and before I even got to the part about that, I wasn't even going to bring that part up.
Yeah.
And you were talking about Team Quest, and I was like, you know what? Let's just play it. So I played the interview for you, and Team Quest, but better.
Yeah.
But better.
And for him to put that out there, and that's a huge statement to say.
Well, I think
with his
Primus is the lightweight champion, and say what you will, he beat him. And there's a rematch that I'll be at in St. Charles, Missouri, coming up in April, and he beat Michael Chandler regardless of what happened. He's the champ. Chael Sonnen's in that camp, and now you have this kid Jake Smith. That's a legit ass camp.
That is a legit camp. But what I liked about it, what he said, that it's a big statement, but I believe him
for sure.
And I'm excited for the new wave of Team Quest because it's just going to bring back this awesome feeling of Dan Henderson, Randy Couture, Chael Sonnen, all the monsters that came out of that camp. And I am so excited. I'm happy he's up there. He's with some killers, man.
For sure. Well, Paulo, it's that time. Unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye, but we will be back and better than ever in, who knows, just a few days.
Yeah.
Probably. And for everybody listening, we appreciate it. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at D_Y_S_T_S_P. Did you see that shit podcast? And, of course, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the very same thing. And, of course, go to our Facebook page and like it. Did you see that shit podcast? We appreciate all the fan support. Give us a call, 708-669-4777. Well, Apollo, what do you think?
I think that I really need some ice cream right now. So let's go do that. We out.